Hi, today we're going to be talking about the question of debt. One of the folks in our church had asked if we would discuss what the Bible says about debt. And of course, that's a huge topic to try to cover in 3 minutes, but let me try to summarize a few key points that I think the Bible raises with respect to the question of debt. The first thing I want to say is I don't think the Bible either condones or condemns debt. I think there's a general understanding that runs throughout the Bible that borrowing money, lending money, earning interest, even all are sort of practical measures that are part of the functioning of life in a fallen world. So I don't think the Bible neither condemns nor condones it. At the same time, the Bible does give us some key principles about how to deal with debt. And let me just walk through a couple of them. I think that the first thing I want to point out is that Romans 13:8, which is most commonly seen as a verse that seems to condemn all forms of debt, is probably not condemning financial debt, exclusively at least. Let me take a look at Romans 13, verses 7 to 8, and then just talk about that real quickly. It says, "Pay to all what is owed to them. Taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed, respect to whom respect is owed, honor to whom honor is owed. Owe no one anything," it says in verse 8, "except to love each other, for the one who loves another has fulfilled the law." So I think taking both of those verses together, Paul is suggesting not that debt is something we should totally avoid. I think what Paul is saying is that when we owe somebody something, whether it's honor or taxes or even a loan payment, that we need to pay it. And we need to do that in such a way as to bring glory and honor to God. And so therefore, by paying each other love, taxes, honor, or any kind of revenue, we are to pay that back immediately. But it does not proscribe the practice of acquiring debt. Having said that, there are a couple places in the Bible that seem to suggest that loans are to be accepted. Deuteronomy 15, 7 to 8 suggests that when a neighbor needs something, it is okay to loan them money or equipment or anything that you might have. That's more of a personal situation or more of a personal relational thing, but at the same time in Matthew 25:27, when Jesus is offering a parable, he also assumes, this is the parable of the talents, he's also assuming that there's interest to be made on certain things. So he indeed seems to be supporting the notion that a banking industry exists. He's not necessarily saying that the banking industry is good, but he's also not denying that the banking industry ought to exist. So there is a sense, even in that parable, where the banking industry is understood as functioning in our fallen world, and therefore there are certain practices that we just sort of accept. At the same time, the Bible does give us some very clear guidance as to how to manage debt. For example, in Psalm 37:21, it's very clear that those people who do not repay their loans are considered wicked. So that also assumes that loans are to be had. Therefore, borrowing is a practice that is acceptable. However, if somebody has borrowed money, they are to pay off those loans, and if they don't, they're considered wicked. In Proverbs 13:11, it suggests that borrowing money in order to make money is not exactly supported by the Bible. The text says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but he who gathers money little by little makes it grow." It seemed to imply that making money the old-fashioned way is what the Bible supports, and borrowing money in order to make money might be seen as a practice that is not akin to a biblical idea. So in the end, I don't think the Bible either condones nor condemns the practice of borrowing or acquiring debt. At the same time, the last thing I want to say is Proverbs 22:7 says this, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender." So if there's any principle that I think drives throughout the Bible on loans, borrowing money, it is this: minimize the opportunities. When needed, by all means, borrow money, but pay it back as quickly as possible, because those who owe money are going to be enslaved to those who've lent it. And anywhere where we enslave ourselves, we are hampering a life that God has provided to give us freedom in all ways, so that we can worship Him freely, we can give freely, we can tithe generously and gratefully, and do so with cheerful hearts and not be bogged down by debt. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you, and God bless you.